In this video, we're going to make some role assignments in Moodle, and we're going to take a look at what happens in the database as a result. And I just finished upgrading my Moodle test server, went from version 2.7 to version 3. As we continue through this course, I'm going to continue doing Moodle upgrades. This hopefully will help you to see how, despite some changes in the user interface and maybe some new features here and there, the schema that we're going to be looking at over time works the same way. The queries that we're writing will work the same way. And the functions that we're going to write in the Moodle application work the same way. So let's get in here and go to the Site Administration menu, then Users, Permissions, and Define Roles. And this is the list of roles that are available in Moodle by default, and each role is kind of like a label or maybe a container that holds a collection of permissions you can assign to users in specific contexts. The roles and contexts are associated with a user to determine what they're able to do at any particular place in the system. The most common examples are the roles of student and teacher in the context of a course. But you can also assign a role to a user at the system level, and that's what we're getting ready to do right now. So, for example, a curriculum developer might be assigned the course creator role at the system level. Then they'd have edit capabilities throughout the entire site. As another example, in a corporate training environment, you might assign a production manager or a human resources associate to the manager role at the system level. Then they would have access to grade records throughout the entire site. So let's do some of that. Click the Assign System Roles hyperlink, and let's make a couple of course creators. So I'm going to select Robert Johnson from the potential users list, and then click the Add button. Next, I'll select Robert Plant and click the Add button again. And it's just that easy. Now, Robert and Robert are going to make a bunch of courses for me. And their permissions are set and they are ready to go. But the big question for us is, what happened on the back end in the database? Well, first off, in PHPMyAdmin, let's find the roles, and they are stored in the role table, and here they are. Notice how each record has a unique value in the ID field. This number will be important very soon, so let's try to remember that the ID number for the course creator role is 2. So let's get back to the table list, and this time we're going to go to the Role Assignments table, which is on the next page. And I'm going to browse the table, and there are 2 records here, 2 assignments that we just made. I'm going to draw your attention to these 2 fields, Role ID and User ID. And hopefully it makes sense that the Role ID value for both of these records is 2, because remember, the course creator's ID value is 2, and we just assigned 2 people to the course creator role. And who were those people? Robert Johnson and Robert Plant. Those users are represented here in the User ID field. User IDs 3 and 4. And we can check this out and verify it by going to the user table. So click the database name for the list of tables, scroll down and click on the user table. And here they are. Robert Johnson with an ID of 3 and Robert Plant with an ID of 4. So let's take a look at this as a database diagram. The Role Assignments table is what they call a lookup table. That's because it connects 2 other tables together using foreign key relationships. In this case, there are 2 foreign key relationships, one between the user table and the Role Assignments table, and there's a second foreign key relationship between the Role Assignments table and the role table. You can tell which user a Role Assignments table record refers to by looking at the User ID field. And similarly, you can tell which role a Role Assignments table record refers to by looking at the Role ID field. So the idea of a foreign key relationship is that the values match. You know that you can go to the Role Assignments table, find a user ID, and look it up in the user table. And you know that you can grab the role ID from the Role Assignments table and look it up in the role table. Well, there is actually a formal way to define this relationship in the database. If you go to Structure, click on Relation View, and here you would be able to see the foreign key constraints, but in Moodle, they don't currently define actual foreign keys, but the idea is exactly the same. And I might as well mention how you formally state a foreign key relationship. It's the table name dot field name equals table name dot field name. So for the two we've looked at so far, it would be Moodle user.id equals Moodle role assignments dot user ID, and the other one would be Moodle role.id equals Moodle role assignments dot role ID. It's just another way to communicate that foreign key relationship. And that is a brief introduction to Moodle roles and foreign key constraints. We'll be putting that knowledge to use in the very next video.